Hey everybody, welcome to this Board Game Life episode number 54 titled Gen Con Friends. I am one of your hosts for today. My name is Rob, and with me as always, I have my good buddy Mark.
Hey Rob, how you doing? Hello everybody.
I'm doing fantastic. A little congested. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I'm here. Dramatic
pause.
And dramatic pause. Anyway, very special episode today. We have not just one host, not just two hosts, but we have four hosts today. We have back on the mic our brother from another mother, Mr. Brun.
Hello. Yeah, I was going to say it's weird hearing something other than "Welcome to this Xbox Life," episode 9,340.
Yeah. And then we have our other brother from another mother, Mr. Franco.
How you doing? This is Franco. That's all you need to know.
And for any of those that are, I will say this, that anybody who's been a long-time listener of TXL probably recognizes that voice. So, and if you were listening from another show, yep. So, but we won't go into that, but glad to have you guys here.
Yeah.
And these aren't just Gen Con friends. These are real friends of ours that we just wanted to bring them on and hear. Both Franco and Brun got to experience Gen Con for the first time as myself. And Rob and I wanted to get them on and share their thoughts of what they thought of the whole experience as well. So should be good.
Yeah, because we all spend a fair amount of time together out there.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I mean, this is like the first time in a really long time all four of us got on the mic together.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I did an episode with you guys years ago.
Yeah.
I'm talking a long time ago.
Like all our kids were little.
You were probably yeah.
Now they're graduating.
Stop screaming. Yeah.
And we're ready to go to the old folks' homes.
Yeah, we used to do listener of the month and stuff, and Ravioli Capone, right? I mean,
yeah, I think I won. You guys gave me one time a $50 Xbox gift card or something.
Yep.
One time I won, and I was listening to you guys for a long time.
Yep.
It was my first time meeting Brun and Rob in person. Wing and Mark and I have bumped into each other a couple times through other conventions, video game and toy conventions. But I've heard your guys'. For the longest time, I thought Rob was Vin Diesel, and I called him out. I'm like, "This is Vin Diesel. It has to be Vin Diesel. You guys are not, And then like a week after that, you guys did some Wheelman game or interview with the developer, and that just happened to be voiced by Vin Diesel.
There you go.
So that was so funny. I thought it was a coincidence, but then I got to meet Rob, and he wasn't Vin Diesel. So
I have a lot more
funny.
hair than
I was gonna say it'd be funny if you showed up with like a wife, the white cutoff shirt with the cross, and you would have walking around just like family.
In a Ferrari.
Family.
Yeah, and jump it off the parking garage roof or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
No, we're family. How's that?
Yeah, we're family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, my wife's like, she goes, I really like Rob's voice. I go, I know, I do too. I always liked Rob's voice.
Soothing.
Alrighty. So let's jump into it. So, Brun, have you played anything recently that you wanted to talk about? Now, I know we'll preface this. Brun's he's a video gamer. He's not a big board gamer, but have you played any? Well, why don't you just share what you've played?
Maybe it
doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, which people like, I've been reading through and watching videos on how to play this Villainous.
Okay.
The Marvel one, the latest expansion. We Jameis and I haven't sat down and actually played it yet, but that's pretty much what I've been doing, is learning it to try to play it, because obviously I got it and want to try it out. But other than that, I've been doing some video games. But the last 2 weeks I've been playing you're now a manager at a new organization, so learn how to be a manager stuff. So I switched jobs. So I've been, I think I put in well over 80 hours the last 2 weeks. It just, late nights and stuff trying to get caught up in order. So unfortunately, I've had to play real world stuff.
That's no
Manager Simulator.
On the Villainous, which characters? Because Villainous has a bunch of different, like, they have Disney characters. They got Star Wars. Which one did you get? I can't remember.
Yeah, so I got the Marvel.
Oh, Marvel. Okay.
Yeah, and this one has Doc Ock. What's that? Titania and Kang the Conqueror are the three villains in this expansion. Of course, you can play the expansions standalone.
Yeah.
So, but that's the ones that were in the one that I had. So, and I think I think it just officially released like this week. So.
Oh wow.
Yep. Yeah.
I've had my eye on the Star Wars one.
Yeah, I was mixed between when I was up there to get one of which one to get, and I was like, I'll do Marvel because I figured Jameson would like Marvel more, would understand Marvel more. So that's why I got that one.
Cool.
But that's what I've been playing.
All right. How about you, Franco?
Well, this week I've been focusing on 2 games, but only played one. One of them, one I've been painting the figures before I play it. While we were there, I demoed Aliens: Another Glorious Day in the core. I think it came out like in 2020, but they were like showing off their new expansions that aren't out yet. So but it has miniatures which it was a big job putting them together. I mean, they were pretty complicated. The aliens came in like 8 different pieces, and I had to glue each one, and there was like 20 something of them. So it was a chore. But the Marines, they had all the characters for the movie, so I actually primed them, painted them, got them, and then I put a finishing coat because I like painting miniatures. It's one of my, and I have all the paints to do it, but I just can't play with a regular bland plastic, gray character.
Nice.
So I got them all painted, and I punched out everything, and I'm getting my family pumped up. But the thing is, even though I demoed it, I need to go over it before I start showing them how to play. And basically, it's a survival horror. There's like 10 campaigns. You lay down these cardboard squares that lay out your different maps, and it tells you how kind of like Gloomhaven does with their scenarios, where you have to lay out the templates. So it's like a form of a ship or whatever. And you have, I think it was like 8 characters, and you can play solo. You can play with 2 people, but even if you still have to use all the characters. So you can flip their template around to make them just easier to operate when you're playing multiple characters. But if you're going to focus on one, you can use the other side of the card, which gives more detailed information. You can do more stuff. So now the characters are painted, it'll look nicer when we play, and you just do different missions and you progress through the story. And it's, if you're an Alien fan, which I had when I had COVID, a year ago or 2 years ago, I actually stayed home and I watched every Alien movie in chronological order. So I was like, oh man, I pumped up now. You know what I mean? It's like all fresh in my mind. I know what's going on. So when I saw the game, I was like, oh man, this is right up my alley. And I sat down and just played it, and I had a blast. So I picked that up, haven't played it, painted all the figures. But the game that I did play was another game I picked up at Gen Con. It came out a while ago, and it's called The Few and the Cursed. It was part of this bundle. You buy this giant backpack, the ones that say +1, whatever, and I got that game and then some surprise games. But this game, I was like, well, let's try it. It's a deck building game based off a comic series called The Few and the Cursed. And it's a big board, and it's a post-apocalyptic Earth where most of the water on the planet have disappeared. So you're basically playing in a dried-out Pacific Ocean, and they have the San Andreas town, and it's a 4-player, and you each have your little miniatures, and they're kind of like cowboys, but it's like they put some new supernatural element into it where. You go out and hunt bounties, right? And you level up and you get your scores up when you collect bounties. And there's different ways to score, but you can take on these curses when you get certain cards. But if you got a curse threshold. If you start doing these special abilities, if you go past a threshold, you become like cursed, and you have to basically flip your bio card over, and you have some special abilities, but you're also being punished every round. So you kind of try to get your curse levels down. And we played it one time, and it was we kind of messed up on some of the mechanics at first. We know what we did wrong, so we're ready to play it again the right way. And overall, everybody thought it was a decent game, and they wanted to play it again, which was good. So, but yeah, the Few and the Cursed is it was interesting. I never really, you don't see a lot of these cowboy post-apocalyptic, deck building games with the board and everything. So I was like, it was new to me. I haven't been huge on the board gaming scene for that long, but yeah. So those are the two games really that I played and sort of played this week.
All right, cool. How about you, Rob?
It's been a rough week for me. I've been sick most of the time, so I have been mostly just laying in bed when I actually tried to work through the whole period, so not a whole lot going on. I'll throw this one in. I did get AG&C the other day. So this is a Kickstarter from Asmodee Games, not to be confused with Asmodee, which is that huge conglomerate that owns half the board gaming world nowadays. So this is Asmodee, much smaller publisher versus that big holding company. And it's a game by a designer called Carl Chudik, which this guy's been around for quite some time and makes these amazing card games. Um, just uses cards in such different ways. Like he also did Innovation and Uchronia, and there's a handful of other games that I'm drawing a blank on right now. But I usually love his games, so I picked this one up, and I backed it on Kickstarter, and it finally showed up. It was one of those like, hey, I'm getting a delivery. Thank goodness it's not UPS, because who knows when that's going to
Yeah.
be coming. But I'm getting a delivery, and then actually came by post office. They shoved it right in the mailbox, and I was pleasantly surprised to see it. On the flip side, I got to mention this. The production of it is nice for Asmodee because they've done very basic art in the past in a bunch of their games. So I do enjoy the art on this one a lot better than like Innovation. But what's interesting about it is that it's 5 decks of cards um, that are shrink wrapped, not wrapped in cellophane. You know what I'm talking about? Cellophane's like the stiffer plastic where you have like the little, ribbon,
yeah,
or whatever you call it, where you can like tear it. So this is thick shrink wrap, and what a huge pain it was to release these decks. Granted, it would have helped if I had a knife or something, but yeah, that was an interesting endeavor. It took a little longer than I anticipated. Probably like 10 minutes to get these 5 decks opened without like damaging the cards. But the thing that I want to mention that I really don't understand is, okay, so these, like the trays, right, that games have, like the inserts that they have. So the insert for this game, and it's a smallish box, maybe like 8 inches by 9 inches or 8 by 10, something like that. And it's got this insert in there that holds the 5 decks. And then it comes with, I'll call it like a clear insert cover. Does that make sense? Which fits over the insert to basically hold everything in the box. And normally you think that would be like pretty cool. But what's interesting about this is that everything's so tight that in order to get that clear insert cover off of the main insert, you have to remove everything from the box, which is like I don't know the benefit of that. So I just thought that was really strange. Granted, it fits really nice. It's tight. Stuff's not going anywhere, but yeah, it's pretty funky that they designed it that way. So just two things I wanted to mention, because I usually really look at the production and the the manufacturing process and everything like that, how well they did that stuff. But two minor little annoyances. I'm hoping to get the game played here sometime soon, and really looking forward to another Carl Chudik game. But yeah, that's about it for me. How about you, Mark?
All right. Hopefully, if I'm stuttering, it is my internet. I'm seeing issues on my end, so hopefully everyone else is coming through clearly. Most likely you are. But just let me know if all of a sudden I'm breaking up. I did play some epic spell wars of the Battle Wizards Rumble at Castle Tentakill this week with my game group. This was a different version than the one I played before, and this one added like creatures and blood, and it was it really seemed to make the game longer than what we were expecting. Usually, it can be a pretty quick game, and it definitely wasn't this round. But we were also learning how to play with creatures and stuff, so that was an interesting twist. I got to break out my Wingspan with all my beautiful deluxe components that I got recently, and they were a hit with everybody. Everybody really liked them. I did get to play Lost Ruins of Arnak with my oldest son before he went back to school. So he saw me watching a YouTube video on how to play, and he was like, "Oh, what's this? And this looks interesting." And he's like, "Can we play this?" And I was like, "Yeah, we can." So we sat down one day and ran through it together, and it's a fun game. It's different than anything else I've played so far. There's a lot of options. That's what I think is kind of interesting about this game, is there's so many ways to score points. So it definitely has a lot of options. Also, I got a Kickstarter in as well called the 7 Deadly Dice. Kind of a fun little game. There's a crap ton of dice. I couldn't believe when I opened the box. It's just half the box, and it's a small box, but half of it's cards and the other half is dice. And basically, you have the cards consist of a bunch of sins that you have to confess. So everyone gets like 7 sins, and you have to roll. So you're taking like dice out of this bag. They call it the bag of sin. And at the start of your turn, I think you take 2 dice out, or you can play a card, or you can try to confess. But basically, you got to get enough dice, and then you look at your sin cards that are laying out in front of you face down, and they tell you have to have certain colored dice. And I think there's like 6 different colored dice in this game, and you have to roll certain dice. It'll tell you which combination of colored dice you can use, and then you have to roll a certain number. And if you do, then you can confess your sin, and the first person to confess all their 7 sins wins the game. So, and there's ways in the game that you can cheat legally. You can take cards and keep other people from being able to do things, and it's a mean game, if you will. So 7 Deadly Dice, that I just got that this last week. I got to play Thunder Road Vendetta again this week with my gaming group, my Monday night gaming group, and I won. I was so happy. And it was interesting because both times I played before was with Rob and Franco, and I played with Franco's family first, and then we played it was Brun, Rob. Oh, it was Brun, Rob, Jay, and myself, and Franco was there watching us. And both times I kind of tried the strategy of running the little car fast and getting ahead, and one time it kind of helped and dropped a bunch of people off the last tile, but that basically put a target on my back. In both games I got taken out pretty quick. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to try something different. And another guy went with that. And I was going to say, hey, I don't recommend that, but I'm like, well, let's just see what happens. Maybe he'll have better luck with it. And no, he became a target and he got taken out and he was the first one out of the game. And then once we got him out, then it was actually the rest of us just started picking each other off pretty quick. And I ended up, it got down to me and one other guy. He only had one car left. I had two, and my one car was in front of his. My other one was right behind him. So I decided to try to shoot him and take him out. And I was successful to throw him into a mountain, and I won the game. So I was pretty excited to finally win, but it was so much fun. Everyone enjoyed it. I really love Thunder Road.
Yeah, it's dangerous to be in the lead in that game. I noticed too.
Yeah.
We played it again, and it's like I did this first. We played it several times. I did the same thing. Small car. I'm gonna just book it. And I was just going through the hazards, and all that. But everybody gangs up on you, and you got 3 helicopters on your back now, and everybody's trying to take you out. And so, and then I tried the medium car, but then I thought, what? What you just did, it's kind of like you just want to stand back a little bit, and keep your cars, because it's like they take out the first person who gets in the lead. It's not good to be in the lead on that.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Great game.
Yeah, it's funny to hear you guys talk about like people going after you when you're in the lead, and then when we were playing, I wasn't in the lead, and I was getting hit every time. I mean,
you started it. I just want you to know you started.
I did not start it.
Yeah, you did.
I did not
you
start
were running
it.
Remember,
no,
it was those drivers from Ohio that we were talking about running into everybody.
And everybody that's new on that game, if you notice, when they first start out, everybody's nice. Like, oh, I better get, driving around you and try to keep your distance. And then, like, once you figure the game out, it's like the first move. Now you're just slamming cars. You don't shoot, you can't shoot the first round. But still, you just like, now everybody knows how to play. And then you start ramming cars. But everybody starts out like being polite, using turn signals, and just going. It's like it changes when you know how to play. It's like, no, right out the gate, I'm slamming you.
Yeah, middle fingers out the windows. Well, the funny part, I'm sitting next to Mark, and I'm looking at him, and every time somebody's hitting me, and I would happen to roll, and then happen to hit Mark, every time I'm looking at him, I'm like, Mark, I'm not starting this. Like, this was not my fault. And he's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, how's it my fault?
Yeah, and then you do so many slams that you forget whose turn it was.
Yeah,
because everybody's taking bumping cars into each other, and then you're like, wait, whose turn was it?
Yeah, the game is fun. It really is fun.
It is. All right, don't laugh at me at the next one, but my oldest son, when he was younger, was king of Monopoly, and we got to the point where we would never play because he would win every game, no matter what.
Did he have a monocle?
we used to tease him that, we should have one, but he wanted to play. It's still his favorite game. So it's like, okay, we broke it out. And he has this, his sister bought him for Christmas, I think last year, this really nice wooden classic edition of Monopoly. And it's like on one side is Monopoly, the other side it's Clue. It's like this really nice set. And so he broke it out and we played it. And I couldn't freaking believe it. He got his butt handed to him. Like, it was the first time I've ever seen him lose. And I ended up winning. And I'm like, I never win at Monopoly. But I think it was, kind of this thing that the kids didn't want each other to win. So, but it was still fun to play it. We did play King of Monster Island.
Well, quick question on the Monopoly game. So, how did you play it? Did you play it how you always played it, or did you actually play it by the rules? Because most people don't play it correctly.
We played it like we always played it. I think we play by the rules, with the exception that we do like free parking. So when you pay like your taxes and stuff, it goes into the middle, and so when Lemon lands on free parking, they get that. But other than that, I think everything is, if you can't buy a property, then it goes up to an auction. So everyone else can start bidding on it. So I landed on something. I didn't have any money. And I couldn't believe I ended up winning because I was about out. Like I had like nothing, and I was doing really poorly to start. And then as soon as my oldest son got basically destroyed, somehow went out before me. He basically had to mortgage everything off that he had. And he basically just handed it over to me, like mortgaged it over to me, and I got all his stuff and to pay his debt. And that basically brought me back into the game. That, because every time I would roll, I was like just scraping by. Like was just I would get rent from someone just enough to turn around and hand it to someone else, or I'd go past Go to get my 200 to turn and hand it over. I couldn't do anything. I had property, I couldn't build on it because I had no money. But in the end, I did win. It came down to my daughter and I, and she was slowly losing, and she's finally she didn't have enough, and she was just like, I'm tired of playing. I'm mortgaged all to you. And I'm like, you don't have a choice. But you go ahead. You think it was your choice.
Yeah.
So also with my kids, we played King of Monster Island. We did defeat that crystal monster, the crystal dragon, whatever, on easy, even though it was not easy. But it was easier this time than when we were all playing at Gen Con. Like that thing destroyed us quickly. And I still was like, I was sitting there going, we must be doing something wrong because this is going so much better this time. But we had focused on like attacking minions and keeping those things off the board. So like when he would go, we were I think because like my daughter and I had more knowledge because we had played this before with you guys, it helped. Okay, we know, we were telling everyone, you've got to work together. We've got to, you can't one shot this. You can't be the lone wolf. We have to, you may not want to go do something. You might have, I want to go attack the boss, but really you need to go over here and take out this shield guy so we can kill the guy with the rocket that's going to kill everybody, or damage everybody. So we changed up kind of the tactics and actually did beat him, but it was close, man. That dude was getting all his star points and just hurting us such a big way. And we finally were able to like gang up on him. But now we got to play his hard character. And then if we can beat him, then we get to use him as an actual character in the game. And then we've got other bosses that are harder that we need to now go on and defeat. We did play Waffle Time. I was not a big fan of this. My daughter really likes it. I just struggled with the rules on this one and placement of where you can place your stuff. And I just was like, why do they have to be together? Why do you, it's like, let me take my two fruits and put them where I want. But,
nice.
And then having to build patterns, and I'm not a fan. I'll just say that one. I mean,
is it too spatial for you?
It's too thinky for me. It is too thinky. I don't know. I couldn't, sometimes you just, and I'm sure that if I played it a few more times, eventually it will click. It was just, we only played it once. It was the first time. And I was just sitting there like, I'm looking at what I can pull from the board, where it's going to go on my waffle, what is, I mean, I ended up winning. I think I did. And I was just like, I have no idea how. It just, but I know my kids were helping me a lot. Well, you could do this or you could do that. And I'm just like, I don't understand how you can, how you can see this. And, oh no, I didn't. No, my oldest son won, but I came in second place.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, that makes more sense. But I beat my other two kids, which was surprising. So, but yeah. So, anyways, played Waffle Time. I played with my oldest. We played some Sky Team. He really liked that, and I want to dive into that. I don't know if Franco, if you got a chance to dive into that, but that, man, there's a lot more in that box than just what we did at the demo, and there's like a lot more there than, and I haven't even dived into it. So all I did was like basically play the first round with my son. He's like, hey, this is pretty good. So I wanted.
No, I've only taken it apart. I popped everything out.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how to play it. I didn't even play the demo. You just got me excited about it, and it rubbed off. And I was like, man, everybody must be excited about this game, so I got to get into it. And that's why I waited an hour and a half in line to get it. I haven't played it yet.
Well, it's a good one. You and your wife could sit. I mean, it's a 2-player, so you and your wife, or you and your one of your kids or something, can sit down and play it. But it's fun. I really like it. He enjoyed it. My daughter enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to like getting this one back and playing a little bit more. There's a lot of different situations.
Have you landed a plane successfully?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So I've played it twice, and we've landed the plane successfully both times. but it was on the first intro level. So the game, it adds a bunch of more stuff that's going to make it harder to do. So
yeah, and then they gave us a LaGuardia Airport extra content at the show, right?
Yeah.
That was LaGuardia Airport. Yeah, and then they also said they were working with the Captain Sully team about that crash landing he made in the Hudson.
Yeah.
And they were working with them about doing some type of scenario for the game too, where you would do a emergency landing, I guess, if a bird hit your wing or engine or something. I don't know. That's what they were saying. So.
Yeah, it'll be
I haven't played it yet, so I don't quite understand it all, how they're going to do how they implement it. But
it's yeah, it'll be pretty cool, I think. I know there's some stuff in that box we got that has more advanced things. I think there's like something with fuel leaks and stuff, and it's like, so I don't know how that's going to portray it, but there's weather will be involved, and having to make, I think, turns on approaches and stuff, and having to turn certain ways. So it'll definitely make it more complicated when you cannot talk to your co-pilot. So and you're depending on dice. That's the thing. It's all to the dice. So.
And that game's not out yet, is it? Because I tried looking it up and it's nowhere.
No, it's supposed to come out this year. So
okay.
I think it's coming out like next month, I think. But we got an early release of it, yeah. So
yeah, that was one of the cool things about Gen Con, getting stuff that's not out.
Yeah.
You know. So video games always have a street date. It's like, oh, we can't sell it till the Friday or Tuesday or whatever of this month, and it's like everybody has to wait.
Yeah. Also,
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, hot off the presses, UPS actually came through while you were talking there about 2-3 minutes ago, Mark. There's supposed to be a delivery. I'm like, whatever, it'll show up like 4 months from now. But they actually arrived on time, like they said they would, and I got Castles of Burgundy Special Edition in the house.
Finally!
Nice.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed that game. I could really get into that when you showed us how to play.
Yeah, it's a really fun game, and it's much better. Like once you're into the all the rules and you can just play, and then it actually goes fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to open this thing up and check it out.
That is awesome.
Want to see pictures?
Picture it didn't happen.
Picture it didn't happen. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, anyways, then
That game was fun.
I got into Dwarf Romantic, played this with my gaming group. I'm really glad I ended up buying this game. So when my daughter and I and Franco, we sat down and we demoed this. I know Franco didn't like it because it was a cooperative thing. So we're working towards a cooperative goal. And I know that was something that you weren't a fan of. My daughter didn't.
Well, the lady also did. The lady also wasn't like completely knew what she was.
She didn't know what she was doing.
What she was showing us.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it. Like it's like, okay, it's cooperative, but even on cooperative games, sometimes you can be like, oh, it's cooperative, but I got this score or I did this, but you don't really. I guess I don't know. It was just kind of weird to me. It's like you either win or you don't, and then you go on to the next one. But
so here's what I found out about this game. So I didn't pick it up that day, but it was one of those. It's like it kind of reminded me of Carcassonne, and I do like Carcassonne.
Yeah, very much.
And I was like,
yeah,
this thing's game of the year.
King
There's got to be King Domino. I love King Domino. So I'm like, the next day I did go back and I ended up picking it up, and so I brought it to my game group, and we loved it. It turned out this is a legacy game. So there is a campaign within that as you go through and you get so many points. We got enough points on our first play to open up box 1, which brings in new cards, new tiles, new bonuses, and then you keep playing. And then basically there's all these types of like achievements and bonuses and things that you're trying to get throughout this game, and it's basically a legacy, so it's going to continue to build upon itself. And so I've got this basically campaign pad that I've got all our names on, and everyone was just like, yeah, we need to play it again. And like the second time we did it, it was like we did so much worse, but we ended up, our starting tile had like a bridge or a train bridge going over the water, and then the next tiles that came up like had them curving in towards each other, and it like totally hosed us of where we could build stuff. So it made it really complicated. But there's things you're trying to do to get as much score as you can to get to the next, to unlock more stuff. And so the game will grow. And there's like, once you've got to the end, there's like so many different things that will be in this game that you'll be placing. So I'm really excited. We really did enjoy it. The game group said, bring this back. We got to do this again. They want to keep going off on the campaign. So we're definitely going to be doing that.
So you're a fan of it now.
I am. I'm really glad I picked it up.
So that Essence Spiel or whatever that they got the award that they did know what they were talking about.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Also played Flux the board,
and I gotta add, it is on Steam, so if you want to try the original game that inspired the board game, you can pick it up. It's like $15, $19, something like that. It's not very much.
Yeah. And then Flux the board game and Point Salad. I'm just gonna leave it at that because we've got a hard stop here for Brun, and I've been talking too long about what we've been playing. So everyone's here to hear from from Brun and Franco about your guys' Gen Con experience. So I'm gonna mute and just I'm gonna throw it back to you two. I don't know, Rob, if you got any specific questions for them.
Well, no, I was gonna ask something, but I'll just leave it for later.
So he doesn't want to talk. He's opening something that he just received in the mail.
Say something?
Yeah, it's Christmas over there for him right now.
He's already setting up a game right now. He's like starting to play it by himself.
No, I'm already playing.
Yeah.
I'm in the second
It is his favorite game.
Rob, so Rob, I know I sent you guys that link to thingiverse.com, but somebody created STL 3D printing files for every structure in your game right there. I can print out every building, and then you can just use those instead of using those cardboard.
Oh, that's that. Whenever I see that kind of stuff, it just makes me want to get a 3D printer, like so badly.
Yeah, I will say they're a little challenging to use, but if you're into like board gaming, like if you just search board games on Thingiverse, Thingiverse is a website that people will design inserts for board games or wings, whatever, and they just put it up there for anybody to borrow. 3D printers are challenging to get to work correctly if you don't know what you're doing, and I struggled. I have the plastic, but the plastic PET or PTG, whatever, PLA plastic. But they have 3D printers that use resin, right? And for those, you can get more detailed, smaller, like figurines and stuff. But for bigger, like little structures, I just went down. I didn't even think about board games really when I was looking at this stuff. I looked it up, and I'm like, oh my god, the people designed inserts for your board game boxes so you can organize everything. And they even have like Wingspan. They made all the little food for Wingspan, a birdhouse. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm like, I didn't know about all the board game stuff on for 3D printing. So, but I saw the Castle of Burgundy, and it's like, wow, somebody designed every single structure, the watchtower, the castle, everything in that game. You can just print it out and have a little miniature of it now and plop it down on your board. I'll try to make you some. I'm gonna attempt it. Plastic is really cheap, so it's not gonna cost anything. So I'll go ahead and try to see what I can do, and maybe I can print you out your little miniatures buildings for your game. So.
And then you can paint it.
Yeah, well, I like painting, but that'd be hard to paint an entire little miniature castle. But I guess you could have it just printed out in different colored plastic for each player, so you can blue, whatever color, and just use that plastic, so you don't really have to paint it.
No, that's one thing that's cool about the special edition that I just picked up. It's got all these acrylic hexes, like those little cardboard dudes. The hexes are acrylic, and it's got like 3D pieces. Man, it's been so long since I backed this thing like a year ago.
Have they done a digital version of that game?
Yes. Yeah, so you can play it it's on Steam, I believe, and
I'm
you
looking
can
it
also
up
do
right
it on
now.
mobile.
Oh, $15? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's a very interesting interface. That's one of those games where they kind of redesign things a little bit.
Yeah, and it actually looks like a board game. on the Steam version.
Yeah, Steam has like a platform for board games, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but
Tabletop simulator.
yeah, it's pretty pretty much if
Do you
that's the
feel
exact name of it. But
do you feel like if you were playing the digital version would make you help you learn the actual game rather than reading the rule book or watching a YouTube video? If you actually played the digital version, would you be able to just pick up a board game and start playing it, or is it completely like
it can help? I mean, it can definitely help to learn the rules. But I know that for me, most of the games I would, without hesitation, much prefer to play the physical versus
learning on the physical.
No, I would rather I prefer to play the physical copies versus digital.
Yeah. Okay.
In the end, between the two. But it can help, especially if the games have tutorials and such.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel like the digital versions are watered down, so it's like then you get to play the real thing. Like I tried to learn Pandemic on the Xbox, but I just couldn't figure it. It was just too much. I was just maybe I wasn't in the right mindset, but it's something I tried to do. Like, I'll play the Xbox version and then I'll go play the board game, but I couldn't really get into it on the video thing. But I might enjoy the board game. You know what I mean? Like I didn't enjoy it on the digital, so it may have gave me the wrong impression too. So.
And sometimes the digital versions. Sorry, Brun. Just let me finish real quick here.
Yep.
The digital versions get to be too mechanical, where it removes a lot of the entertaining factor.
Yeah, and the AI cheats too. So.
Only when you lose. Right. Anyway.
And I think it's more fun to play in person, like when you're doing board games. But the one thing that digital does give you is the ability to play, like we could all play again. You know what I mean? That's the I guess the good part
or
about
if you're
playing
single player,
Yeah. But I mean, otherwise it could be like Rob could set it all up at his house and have multiple camera angles, and we're basically just telling him what pieces to move, move for us. But that's what that the tabletop simulator that Rob just said. I did look it up. That is the exact name of it. But you can do various games, and people are building, I don't know, mods for it. Like people are playing Warhammer, a tabletop Warhammer through that, through the tabletop simulator. And Warhammer is not an official game for it, but somebody got it working. So very, very cool though.
All right, Rob, just get about 10 more cameras, set it up.
There you go. Sounds good.
But
so anyway, let's talk about Gen Con.
Yeah.
So I'm going next year.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I want to say is the hotel I stayed in at Gen Con was fantastic and phenomenal. The staff and help were wonderful and very nice.
Stars.
Yeah. So my daughter and I went and we got to stay at Franco's, and we greatly appreciate you letting us, crash at your place. And
I did a background check on you, and you came out clean, so I was like,
yeah. Well, I'd hope so. You could probably really do that, and I better come out clean.
No, just kidding.
Yeah. So, but no, we really appreciate it because I mean, it's a huge thing. The hotels around there were hard to get in at that time.
Oh yeah, I heard crazy stories about even the locals here telling about the hotels and it was like 70,000. It was like some record-breaking attendance, and hotels are just start tripling and doubling their prices around that time. But I'm glad you guys stayed because it was like a nice, it was an icebreaker too for because like this is the first time I met you and Rob and then my family. You know what I mean? Like, so it was nice. So like next year it's like okay, it's not going to be as awkward or you know what I mean? Like it'd just be easier to do. So it's like okay, yeah, we know what's going on. So, but yeah, I mean, I was like telling my wife, I'm like, man, we should plan this again next year and try to get some more air mattresses, which you didn't even use the air mattresses I left for you, but
yeah, we slept in the
recliners.
The recliners, yeah. I mean, they were comfy.
Did you actually get some sleep?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you live next, and you just live. I just moved to Indiana from. I used to live by Mark 2 years ago, and then now I live by you and Rob.
Yeah.
So, and it just so happened that Gen Con was popping up right in my backyard, basically 30 minutes away from the house. So I kind of felt like, oh, yeah, I did it with PAX. I was like, for other friends that we know, that I was like, hey, I'm in Seattle, right by the convention. Let's do this, and had a blast. So I thought, man, Gen Con, because it was just so weird how Mark got into board games all of a sudden. I was listening to TXL, and Rob's always been into board games, but then I was like, this was weird because I had been transitioning more to board games too, and it was like, well, let's make this work. Gen Con's here, and we're kind of all playing board games now too. So it was kind of a unique situation where it was just like perfect storm. It was like all lining up. But
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to start off with that, but you can talk about your experience first. You were there. I was only there for one day, so you can start.
well, I did I did a little bit of research before I went. Like 2 days before I went, I started watching some YouTube videos, like what to expect at Gen Con. Because I've been to gaming conventions, but I went to PAX Prime every year since 2012 or 13, I think it was when I went. So I was going to PAX Prime, and that was a challenge because it's like people trying to go to Comic Con in San Diego. The tickets would sell out so fast. So, to go to a convention like that in Seattle, it was like we had a network of people, and I'm thinking, oh man, is Gen Con going to be like this? Where, I gotta be refreshing my phone, waiting for an alert, and a couple times when the tickets went on sale for for the PAX convention, I was like in the air, my phone would shut off, and I'd land like, hang on, my stupid dogs. Um, I would land like whatever destination. Also, my phone would blow up, and I missed out. And thankfully, a buddy would get a ticket. So thankfully, Gen Con wasn't as difficult to get the 4-day passes. I didn't think it was. Did you guys find it difficult to get passes? I don't know how early. I did it like a couple days after it went on sale. I think 2 days. I don't know if you guys had difficulty trying to get or know anybody who had difficulty getting tickets because of being sold out. Do they sell out that fast usually?
The only other time that I recall them selling out was about 5 years ago. So was that like 2018 when they had the 50th anniversary? Because this was 55th. Yeah, I think this is the 55th one.
Okay.
When they had the 50th anniversary, that was kind of like the special one. They had all this extra, anniversary stuff going on, and I know that one sold out not immediately, but it sold out the 4-day passes quite a bit before the show itself. And then when we were at the show, they had signs everywhere, right, that said like, 4-day passes sold out. So
Okay.
they did sell out of the 4 days at least.
So I mean, I was glad Gen Con was easy, more. It was easy accessible compared to PAX Prime. And I got it early, so I was glad for that. But I didn't know what to expect. Like, okay, I kind of know what a gaming convention is, but what is a board game convention like? And so I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and like Mark said last week, as soon as we walked in the front door, I saw one guy that I saw 3 videos, and there's one guy standing there getting a pizza, and I'm like, dude, I just watched you. And then I caught another guy, and I was just like right there, and he gave, that's the guy that gave me the patch. I was the first one to recognize. I have a good. I always tell people I have a good facial recognition. Like I can see somebody, and then years later remember them. But I will say, compared to a video game convention, it's similar where they have, instead of developers or whatever, publishers have their booths. It was quiet, not as loud. Thankfully, it wasn't any giant bass or explosions and going on where it's just like sound overload, and you're not sharing headsets because I think I got 2 ear infections from the video game conventions from wearing those headsets they give you to go play the demo. But it was set up cool, but this thing was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I knew it was big, and I didn't even know what Gen Con was till I moved here. I work at the airport. So I'm like, I see all these people, dressed up like wizards and dwarfs. I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, oh, it's Gen Con. I'm like, what's Gen Con? I'm like, oh my goodness. And it's like, that is what I want to go to. We've been literally getting into board games, my whole family. I mean, we play them almost every weekend. It's like we have a dinner on Saturday, and we play a game. So I was like, man, I got to go to this thing. And finally I was able to, but yeah, it was just, oh man, it was massive. I didn't even go to all of it. I didn't go to the Lucas Oil Stadium. I didn't go upstairs. I didn't go into the hotel ones, and I had fun just like getting absorbed to all this stuff that was just. And I had a lot to learn, because being a not getting into when you go to these conventions, you start you're talking to a lot of hardcore board gamers, and they got the whole lingo and words you didn't even know, or genres you couldn't describe, like social deduction games. That was a new. I'm like, oh, a social deduction genre. It's like, so. But what I did like about this too is that you got to actually sit down. You get to sit down more, not stand so much at a place, but you can sit down and play a game and get taught it. And then if you like it, it's like, well, it's right there. You can buy it usually.
Yeah.
And you can't do that at a video game convention. You can, oh, I like this game. I'm going to go ahead and buy this disc. No, you can go download it when you get home, or wait till the street date. But this is like, you can get your hands on it today if you want, or like we were just talking about games we got before they were even released. Like they would never do that with a video game. They would not give you a video game to play, 2 months before it's released, because who knows, you could go on YouTube and shoot, give it a negative review, and they would lose millions of dollars or whatever. But no, it was really cool. The people, they're all serious gamers, and everybody, you can talk to them and learn about stuff about games you never even heard of. And I have a lot of catching up to do too. Like games that came out 10 years ago, I heard are great. I'm like, man, I'm got a lot to do. But and I like that it gave us so much room to sit down and play games if we wanted to. There were so many tables. Of course, some tables were reserved, and that was a little confusing. And some of the tables were so wide we couldn't even hold hands if we wanted to from across the table. But
Yeah.
it was definitely a lot of fun, and I think some of the funnest parts was just being able to play games with people, and hope maybe next year what we do, we just all either find a place there, or we all come back here earlier and just do gaming all, board gaming all night, or something. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and so I definitely want to do it again next year. And you guys are all invited to come here and hang out here if you want. Save yourself, $2,000 on hotels.
Yeah, and the thing with mine is, like I said, my daughter went with me, and we went in, and she's the one who bought most of the stuff, right? I bought like the one expansion, like I said, for the villainous. And like I was saying this earlier. I don't know if we recorded, but yes, it wasn't out at the time that I bought it. It just released, I think, this week, honestly. So now people can buy it, but if I remember correctly. But the thing is, we went around, and it's really cool because I think when we first got there, you and Mark were like beeline straight to get the game that
Sky
Mark said he was
Team,
playing.
yeah,
Sky
and
Team.
Thunder Road Chrome Edition, yeah.
Yeah, so the Thunder Road Chrome Edition, which I'm looking up, and you can buy on Amazon right now for $445.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's Mark's copy. He's just
yeah, he's sitting on it. Yeah. So the Chrome Edition, but you guys were in there, so Evie and I started going around. And when I came back to Mark, I was like, or he called me, he's like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "We're over here." It's like, when I go over there, it's like, "Have you seen a place to buy dice around here? I haven't seen one yet." And he kind of looked at me, and people standing around me heard me say that, and they all kind of like stopped and looked over, like, "Is this guy nuts?" Because they are everywhere, right? It's like a Starbucks on every corner.
It's like it looks like
yeah.
Those dice booths are like I mean, I'm not into dice, but you see it and you're like, are you buying an engagement ring, or are you buying dice? Because it looks like you're going to Zane's, or what's it, jewelry store. Zales jewelry. Yeah, they're all dressed up. So one booth, they're all dressed up in tuxedos, and it's like gloves on. You're looking at this display cases in front. I'm like, oh my god, this dice, people take this dice serious.
Yeah, well, some of them, like there were some sets that you could get were like $160 and stuff like that. But well, it was pretty cool because you can get different styles and things like that. So Evie bought a couple different sets. And then the places that I like to go, we were going around. It's like, someone comes like, "Oh, we make our own dice. Like we make them all, and we make them out of this type of stuff." And we try to, we're a mom and pop shop, very small thing. So we bought from them. But those are the cool things, is going around and seeing the people that like are making their own stuff, because it's like, it's not a big, it's not Amazon and these big factories just pumping out dice. It's like these 5 people that just love it so much that they make it, and those are the cool ones. Those are the cool ones to buy.
Yeah, her dice
So
were pretty cool. She showed me her dice. They were really cool. Like, she plays a bard character, and like she had it color coded with her color coded with her character, and it had like little I was like, man, these are pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And she has like so many dice, it's crazy. But yeah, she does D&D, or they do it over Discord. It's like how they do their D&D stuff. So, she's got her camera on, and of course she rolls her dice here, and so she does that, which is really cool. And she's just now figuring out like Baldur's Gate 3, because like she helped me build helped me build up my character that I'm gonna play for Baldur's Gate 3, our playthrough.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, it's just like," it's like, yeah, they use D&D like the Generation 5 rules or whatever it is.
Yeah. And the
She's
world
like, "Oh,
too.
I
Don't
didn't
they
know
use the
that."
world of D&D too, I think.
Yeah,
Icewind Dale and all those, they
Oh
made
yeah.
it's all in
Yep.
that world. So
Yep.
is she going to be playing that in the game now? Do you think she's going to
Well, I think she wants to play it. Of course, she's going to have to play it on my PC, because I don't think hers is going to handle it. But yeah, she wants to play that. So, but
no
that's, I
dice?
mean, when she went around and she did, and she got that stuff, and so she spent a couple hundred. Like, she didn't want to go crazy, and I wasn't planning to buy really anything unless something caught my eye that we were playing. That I was like, okay, this is so much fun, I have to have it, which is
Thunder Road.
obviously Thunder Road. But I haven't bought it yet, because now I'm like itching, because it's like I really would like my family to play it, and it's like, if they really liked it, I don't know if you could just buy the expansion stuff to get up to the Chrome edition or not. But of course, we wouldn't really need that, honestly, to be up to that level. But so that was really fun, to do that. But you're right, it wasn't super loud. I mean, it was crowd noise loud.
Yeah, but no like
right?
speakers pumping.
It wasn't like, people in
karate
booth
chops.
dancing and doing that stuff.
Naked girls handing out Red Bulls.
Yeah, the gamer scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that was there, and honestly, I was just so surprised how big it was. So
yeah, it was massive.
Yeah, and a lot of cool stuff. And I'll tell you the other thing, for people that haven't went if you don't play board, I mean, people who are listening to this obviously play board games. But I mean, I was just blown away with the games that were set up on those tables, and just going around and be like, oh, look, it takes an hour and a half to set this game up, and it takes 9 hours to play it, or multiple sittings sometimes to play it.
Was that Axis and Allies?
Well, Axis. There was an Axis and Allies tournament going on there, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's the game that I would love to, because I
got all of them. If you ever want to play.
Yes. Well, yeah, we might have to do that sometime, or I think Axis and Allies is probably one of those board games they
Risk
converted.
On steroids.
Yeah, because I love Risk. Risk is a good game, but just like I was kind of looking, I was like, man, you're really into it when you got a protractor measuring your angles with tape measures out, and you're like doing distances and angles.
Up like
Hitler. I don't know if I'd get. That's not the cosplay I think somebody should do.
Yeah, I'm Axis and Allies cosplaying. I'm Mussolini.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that would fly too well, but but no, it's like,
well, there's Secret Hitler. There's a game right there. I just learned how to play last week. So we played at the house. I forgot to talk about that with Secret Hitler. But yeah, you could cosplay like Secret Hitler.
Yeah, but I mean, it was the game that was on the table we spent most of the time on. That one that was on the end, and that guy who had like the microphone. He was like teaching how to play.
So that's what I used to do. Yeah, I do Star Wars Legion, and I create tree. These people make tree. They got the whole indoor forest and you got this terrain, because it plays part of the game, if you've line of sight and measuring and all this, and it is it's when you get into that, it's tough, because it's like you got to dedicate your all your money and time to that, because it's just it never stops. It just keeps getting bigger and building and this, and you got to paint that, and it's too much for me right now.
I mean, for me though, I was just mind blown. It's like, because it's something that I never really got into, but just looking at, like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he was there like all
But
day, teaching people how to play. It looked like they were playing like some type of mech warrior type thing. They had little mech warrior
yeah,
dudes shooting each other, and they had the tree and the swamp. I don't know what else they had in there, but
yeah.
it was pretty cool.
But like next time, and then when we all you go through, and obviously joking around about like the dice, like you can only walk around that place so many times. It's like you're going there, you're getting the things that you want, or if you see something you play later, you go back and get it. But other than that, it was just hanging out with everybody, right? Sitting down, and hanging out,
Yeah.
and Rob teaching us, the game we were playing.
Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah, Castles of Burgundy, and like that, like listening and trying to catch on to all that, because this isn't your roll a dice, go, slide down the chute and climb the ladder. It's not chutes and ladders, right? Um, these games like strategy and the way to think and stuff, like it was just fun. And I mean, how long were we there for? Like 2 hours playing that? It was a couple hours,
Yeah,
right?
at least.
Yeah,
Just because it takes so long, and playing in that big hall, the ABCD, it's actually fairly difficult because there's so many distractions.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Non-stop, people walking by and people
yeah.
talking. Yeah,
So,
A
but
cosplay
yeah,
parade.
yeah, and then
yeah.
yeah, that was funny. So many Mandalorians. Um, the other thing, like other than that, like I don't have too much more to say into, other than I just had a ton of fun. And if you guys are going again next year, I don't think Evie might go, but I'll go.
Absolutely.
And maybe Jameson will want to go this time. I don't know that for sure. Unless they have cup stacking there. But
They will if he
um,
goes.
yeah, exactly. You'll just sit there and stack all day long. Um, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so I went, and the only reason, other than getting a couple free, like I think Mark gave me a game as guinea pigs, or maybe this was you, Franco.
Oh yeah,
There's
I
the
gave you that.
guinea.
Yeah, because they gave me. I
Yeah,
had two of them. Yeah.
yeah. So it was guinea pigs. So I'm looking at a funny box with guinea pigs on it. I have other than that, and then the free game. That's not a hat, which I was getting extremely. I've never thought I'd be so frustrated
I
at
know,
a game
watching you
before in my
guys, I was
life.
like, man, I hope this is going to be worth it for you guys, because you guys were like,
Yeah,
okay, how do Mark's trying to download TikTok. How do I set up my
yeah,
thing and this, that? And it was like,
yeah,
it's
yeah. Well, and the instructions on how to play it and like what weren't really clicking with me, and I'm just trying to look at the box, and I was gonna just give up if it said made for like ages 2 to 4, and here Mark and I can't figure out how to play it, But I got that expansion, and the only reason why I bought that, right, is a guy came up to Mark and I because he was going over to pick up something. Or no, we were going over to pick up the free game, is what it was. And this guy's like, if you guys buy something that's $30 or more, they're going to give you a card. And this card is for another game that just came out Friday. Mark can talk about that here in a second, because I'm going to ask him a question. They're going to give you this card. It was Mickey Mouse, right? And like, all you got to do is spend $30 or more. And the guy's like, I will buy the card off of you for $20. And he's like, and so basically you're getting a game for $10. And I was like, I might do that. And I was like, I don't know, because I really don't play board. He's like, I'll buy yours for $25. He goes, then it's a $5 game for you. So I was like, all right. And that's why I got it. And then I turned around to give the card to the guy, and he was like, gone. And Mark's like, oh, that's not cool. But he just went to the end of the line because he's trying to tell everybody, like, I want to buy this card. And I walked up and was like, here's the card you want. And he gave me $25 for it.
We looked it up on eBay. Remember, I looked it up, and like,
Yeah.
it looks like earlier they were selling for like 150. We saw some sold for 150,
well,
130, and it goes down. Then it was down to like 60, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll let Mark jump here in a second. But so the thing was, as I was like, I sold him. I was like, all right, now that I gave you the card, how much are they going for? You know what I mean? Because I wasn't going to be a guy that was like on purpose, like, well, these guys are buying these cards, so I'm going to do it and do whatever they were going to do, because really this is their realm, right? It's not mine. So I was like, you can go make $1 million off that card if all I care. It's like, hey, you asked me to do it for you, I did it for you. You're off and running, right? So I got the game for like $6. Well worth it to me, right? I'm gonna go play it and have fun. So then, we did look them up, and it was like earlier they're going for something, and I don't. Do you know what the game was, Mark? What was the game that card's for?
Oh,
Lenora technical issues.
Lenora,
Lorcana. Disney Lorcana.
Yeah, Disney
Lorcana. So didn't it just come out? I think
Yeah,
it
I
just
think I
came
don't think
out.
it was out yet. I think,
Right.
or did it? Yeah, it wasn't even
I
out
think it
yet.
came out like this week, maybe
Yeah, yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I think it was Thursday or Friday because Mark messaged
Yeah.
me
Mhm.
and he's like, when we got home, we had one of those cards. He's like, so I'm going to throw it up on eBay. So he threw his up on eBay, and I'll just say it was more than $60. That's what he got for his card. So
Yeah.
it was up there a little bit. And I was like, hey, good for you. I was like, hey, you could pay for your next trip to Gen Con. It's like he's like,
Yeah.
exactly. So those cards were going because that card, the only place you could get it was there, and that was the whole purpose on it.
Yeah, and I think that's another perk of like Gen Con. You get like exclusive things that
Yeah.
you may get a game comes out early before it comes out, but there's certain things if you're into something, you might be able to. There's a shot of getting something that will never be never be open to the public, or not public,
Yeah.
but open for retail.
Yeah.
So that was one of.
So
If you're into Lorcana, you could have got a really cool card that was rare. So
yeah. Yeah, because right now it says Disney Lorcana Mickey Mouse Musketeer Gen Con 2023 promo card, right? This guy has it on there. It's going for 200.
wow.
Yeah.
See, I
So
think maybe they flooded it for a while when we were there. People were flooding the eBay with all those
right.
cards, and then
Yeah.
you just got to.
So you
And
just
even Mark, remember Mark saying he was gonna. He goes, just wait a little bit and then post it
yeah.
because
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because I mean, and that was the thing. That's the cool part about it. It's like, that's kind of neat. That you're right that they do that, but that guy was going around, and I mean, he had a lot of money on hand to buy those cards. So he went there. I think knows specifically like he was going to just hover by their thing and just buy as many of these as possible, and he's going to try to turn them around. Which is like, hey, if that's what you want to do it. I don't care. I'll take $25. I mean, because to me that card is nothing. Unless I want to go out of my way, put it on eBay and do all that stuff, and then it's a risk. But I mean, I guess it's a $30 risk, right? But in the end, but I'll tell you, next year if I go, I won't be selling the card. I'll be putting it on eBay and get my money back. So, but no, like to me, like it was pretty cool because that guy just helped. Not only did you guys like, hey, come over here and come to this thing, so I went and had fun, and then that guy actually helped me, dive into buying a board game because he was like, hey, I'll offer you $25 for the card they're going to give you for free. I was like, sweet. So it all kind of worked out for me, right? So, but yeah, other than that, playing games was fun. Going and doing Thunder Road was awesome, even though I was getting my butt handed to me. And Rob, did you guys talk about that in your previous episode?
About what?
About Thunder Road?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talked about how I got cheated. No, I was kidding.
No.
No.
Another
Mark's
cool thing about
says Mark's offline, so I'm just like, well, he can't argue with me right now.
We can start talking bad about him now.
No,
Another cool thing about
that was
Gen
really
Con.
fun.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, your turn.
Oh, another thing cool about Gen Con is if you are a fan of certain board games, a lot of times the creators are there too at the booth. And one of the ones, well, Gloomhaven, Children's is I think his last. I've seen him a couple times. He actually went to PAX where I got introduced to Gloomhaven. Yeah, Childress. Actually, they're based here in Indiana. I met him at PAX Prime for they were demoing Gloomhaven at a video game convention. That's what got me into Gloomhaven. But when we were here at this Gen Con, I kept hearing a lot about the Everdell, right? This Everdell board game that everybody gets good reviews. So James Wilson was there with his wife. And if you bought the game, which I will say, okay, another good before Gen Con, also good. You get better deals at Gen Con than you can buying online. That's for sure, because a lot of these games were like half the price at Amazon, which is like this. Everybody checks Amazon first. But Everdell, the collector's edition, is I think on Amazon we went for like $100, and they were selling it for 75. So I thought, well, you know what? It's a collector's edition, it's cool little coins and all that. I don't know how to play it, but I hear good things, so I bought it. And they're like, oh, the designer's here. Do you want him to sign your box? I'm like, sure. So I met James Wilson and we talked a little bit. He lives in Idaho, and we were just talking, and he signed the inside of my my box. So I'm like, okay, well, I got the game designer of this board game signed the game. So it's kind of another little perk of at Gen Con, meeting these people who actually design the games, So
yeah, and it makes it just even just a little more special. Like when you do
yeah,
play the game, and it's like I know the guy that did this, and
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, I've gotten a couple games signed over the years, just like that, and it is really cool. It's really cool, and a lot of times they're just walking around or they're working in the booths, and you don't know who they are.
yeah.
Um, like I know for some of them they have like fake names, if they have name tags, like Isaac will be Paul or something.
Yeah, or Turd
Just
Ferguson.
yeah, there you go.
But no, I had it like I was saying is I just had a really good time actually hanging out and playing with people, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it just takes that for me, to have somebody else that's very interested just to invite me over and do it because I'm like, well, I'm not going to say no. Like, why would I not go and have fun and hang out with people? Um, but sometimes that just sparks the thing where it's like, okay, maybe I'll just get one and we'll see how this goes, and
I will
and
say
go
though, you
from
do
there.
spend a lot more than you plan. You buy more than what you
Yes.
plan to. I went with like, how many board games can I play at one time? It took me a year to get through. I don't. So next thing I know, you guys saw me. I walked back with this giant. I look like I'm delivering like 8 pizzas in a
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
look like
because you got
Uber
the
Eats.
yeah. What was that for? That was
So
Toys for Tots, right?
yeah, it's a Toys for
Oh
Tots, and they
yeah,
sell
yeah.
you this loot +1 loot gaming backpack. It's huge. It looks like a pizza delivery, and so they treat it like a fast food joint. Just like, okay, you want the extra helping, and that extra helping is like you get more games, but for one price, you get the backpack, you get another red bag, another square red bag for carrying board games, and then you get a choice of 1 or 2 games, which was the Cursed Few, and another one, and then the 2 card games, and then you get a mystery game, right? Well, I got the extra helping, so I get 2 mystery games and both of the choice games and double the card games, which is like the one I gave you and stuff. So it just stuffed this entire bag I had, and it would weigh about like 30, 40 pounds. And I think I got Viticus as my mystery game and Catan Dawn of Man. I don't know. I haven't opened it yet, but it's one of the other Catans. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, what am I?" It will be Gen Con 2024 before I even get to some of these. But I had to text my wife. I'm like, "Hey, can you?" They happen to be having lunch in the city, and I'm like, "Hey, can you drive by and I take this thing off my back? It is heavy." I did not plan. I told myself I'm not going to be getting carried away. But man, it's like, oh, I did
And
it,
then he
and
got carried away.
yeah, but I'm the type
That's
too. I'm
just the
like, we are
start.
going to play these. I don't care. I'm not going to look at it for too long. We got to play them. So hopefully I got some good Fiticus, which people say is a good game. It's and so in Catan, I know the original Catan, so we'll see. But yeah, so you get carried away at Gen Con if you're not careful, and you start getting a lot more than what you planned on, as Mark can
Yeah.
testify to that.
And,
Yeah, and
yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, even sometimes if you're not really planning on picking up a lot of stuff, you start seeing people walking around with boxes. Like you see people walking by all with the same box. And you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
Yeah.
interesting? They must like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, that would be a good like publicity thing, marketing thing. Just have people walking around the convention, like a whole crew of them, just carrying boxes to build FOMO. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should start our own company up
Yeah.
for marketing.
But they'll
And
be empty boxes, so they don't weigh
Exactly.
anything.
Exactly.
It's like the IKEA bug Volkswagen that you see with the boxes packed on top. There's just be empty boxes, but looks like we're carrying them all. Like, oh,
Yeah.
what about those game tables? You see those game tables they had? Oh my goodness! I was like looking at the. I have a kind of a okay game table I had built. It's like it sinks in and all that. But man, you look at these, it's like, but the price tags are like $15,000, $20,000. I'm like, oh my
yeah.
goodness. How? Oh, it's like a used car. I'm like, but the game tables were pretty impressive, and you think, oh wow, that would be nice to have these tables. And I'm like, you know what? The one I got is fine. It's just when you get back home, you're like, I'm not gonna start getting making payments on a, game table.
Right. So, and the walking around and seeing people play, like you were saying, people playing the other games and walking by, I'm like, oh, somebody's playing Ticket to Ride. And I tried to tell Evie, like, Ticket to Ride is like been around forever, right? I can't. How long has that game been around? But that game there is so much fun. Like, I don't know why I like Ticket to Ride so much, but it's just such a classic that's good.
That's my wife's favorite game, Ticket to Ride.
Oh, that game's fun. I like the strategy into that game too.
Because they had a new one there. It was called something of the West
cool.
or something.
Yeah,
it's like a
legacy.
Legacy game. Yeah, it's a legacy game. Carries on. But when you saw people playing, it was like it looked like a half a puzzle. The board was, and I'm like, oh no, there's more pieces you add to the map, and it grows or something. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, and I was trying to remember. It's like I've played the digital version, but I was trying to remember like where do I have this game?
Xbox. So I don't know if you had Xbox. My wife plays it on Xbox because you play solo on there.
Yeah.
So.
That must be where I have it, but I don't know if it's like backwards compatible or not. I do have it, and it is downloadable. So, yep.
Yeah, they had the free, like the core was free, and then you could buy all the expansions, like all the add-on ones and stuff if you wanted. And they're cheap, but it's like you could get all these other boards too. But they give you like the core one for free, just the core map.
Gotcha. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was a good time. If you guys are doing it next year, just keep me in mind, and
I think
try to get over there.
I think come February, which is approximately or January, which is when the tickets go on sale. You need to get yours.
Get them early. Don't do that pickup thing. The lines were crazy long when people pick it up there. You spend like the whole morning trying to get your badge. I'm like, I'm glad I got it sent to me, man. I was like,
spend the $10. Spend the $10 and mail it.
Yeah,
and order early. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't because we picked ours up at Will Call. We were only in line for 10 minutes.
You went the night before, though, right?
No, we went the day of. Like we just got there and because once but it was a Saturday, so it was like just the one dayer people that were there, right? So it's wasn't as bad. I know, like if you got the 4-day passes and we're trying to stand in that the very first day.
Yeah,
that's I could see that. But for me, it wasn't that bad. But I think next time, just to make it easier for us to all meet up and stuff, like maybe I'll just spend the $10 to have it shipped.
Yeah. Because I want to say that on Thursday morning, Jay and his girls spent close to 2 hours.
Wow.
I don't know if it was that long, but and the line. So Brun, you remember where the will call is, right? In that hallway.
Yeah.
And then there's that long hallway that it's a lot of noise coming from Franco.
Yeah, I think Franco, your mic was jumping around there.
But there's that long hallway that goes down. So in past years, that line has been down that entire hallway and then out the doors and then down the street.
Oh yeah, that would be a bad experience.
Yeah, so you can wait, 20 minutes, half hour, and then you're in the building
right.
to wait for the entire hallway, which is the length of ABCD halls, the entire gaming thing, before it hooks over into the registration will call pickup area.
Yeah. So, we were, you could pretty much see the will call things from the entire time we were in line.
Mm-hmm.
So we weren't, that far off.
But, yeah. The only thing that if you do will call, and let's say if you get there on Wednesday, you can come the night before and pick it up. I've done that in the past where we swing into town Wednesday night, to be fresh for Thursday morning, and then we just stop over there, pick up our tickets, and then go to the hotel.
Yeah. But yeah, for the drive for me, like I said, I'm in Ohio, so it's only like a 4. It's less than 4 hours to get to Indianapolis from where I'm at. it just made sense for us to drive in the morning. So then it wasn't like work all day and try to drive at night. And then but I will say if it's kind of the thing where it's like, we're gonna play board games all night, Friday night, and then go Saturday and then play Saturday night, then I'll be like, well, maybe I will drive in to play some Friday night. Because I think really at that point, if I'm popping in or jumping over there, is to see you guys and to play games. Like, my main goal is not to go and buy stuff. But like I said, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll be on a hunt for a game or so. Mark came back. Did Mark make it back?
Yes, yeah, he's back in, I think.
Did he re-hook up his internet?
I can hear you guys,
and we hear you.
Everything is so jacked up on my end right now, so I'm gonna be really mad if this messed up the show. But I've been gone for a very long time.
Yeah,
like I said, it's my internet, and it was dropping, and it was would come back and reconnect to me, but then when it reconnected me, I couldn't hear nothing. And I've been chatting with Rob for a long time via text.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it's good. But yeah, I was talking about you selling the card,
Lorcana.
For Lorcana that you got it sold because they started selling the game like yesterday or something, or yesterday or
yeah. My auction ended on the same day that the game went live for retail sales. So, and everyone I guess is selling out just like crazy. So. There's going to be a bunch of scalpers out there that are going to be selling the game for crazy prices. Because I talked to one of the ladies at one of the game stores I go to that owns the place, and she said that they couldn't get enough to meet demand, and for their second order, which has already been placed, they're not even going to get what they requested.
Oh wow!
Because they not printing them. So I was like, yeah, it sounds like they're doing it on purpose. She's like, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Drive up that demand for it by not putting enough out.
Yeah. And if the IRS is listening, Wing did not sell that card for $263,000, $263,918.45.
Right. 44 cents.
44 cents. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I got the cents wrong. No, very good.
So.
All right. Well, you came in at the end. I think I'm done, and I'm hoping Franco's mic didn't pop out on him. And
I'm here.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we're all saying that we'll be back next year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going to.
Well,
very nice.
I just got to pay off this year's trip first.
You have a year to do it.
Well,
or I'll be driving out next
today.
year. Yeah,
you can pick
the other thing.
Yeah.
Well, when we said that, hey, we're all going next year, last person to say not it pays. We all said not it, and Mark didn't say anything. So, Mark, you're that's
no problem.
We appreciate it.
I'll get right on that. Hey, no problem. You guys are all getting half-day passes on Sunday, so
no, Sunday.
The second
my
half.
treat.
Free water, free water at the mall food court.
Yeah.
So, were you guys basically just wrapping up?
Yep.
Yeah, we were talking about Gen Con, our favorite parts, and what we, yeah, you missed it.
It was a good time.
Yep. Yeah, it sucks. I'm still having problems. The audio for me is very spotty. It's just clipping in and out. So I'm not going to say anything, but you guys just let me know when you're done. I'll just sit here and listen. And when you guys are done, I'll hit the outro and stop the recording, and hopefully it captured the whole friggin' thing. It should have, the way it's designed. But.
For what it's worth, you sound fine.
Yeah, sound good. Yeah. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, but I'm good. So.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have to do this again too. So I'm actually really looking forward to next August. I think that's when the show is, or is it July? I know they announced the dates.
August 1st through the 4th.
Okay, so yeah, it's pretty much the same. Because wasn't it the 3rd through the 6th this time?
Yes. Yep.
And
5th through the 8th.
One thing that was interesting was I got one of those photo alerts, like, hey, remember these memories from 10 years ago or whatever it was. But I was at Gen Con today, like 10 years ago. So yeah, there was a couple of them that were like later in the month. They were really conflicting with the kids going to school.
Mm.
Let me see, when was that? Oh, it doesn't say when it was. 9 years ago today.
Wow.
2014. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then we can probably go to, if you guys want to go to Germany, we can go to the Essenspiel too.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I don't know if I'll be able to get
yeah.
get boss approval for that one.
Yeah. You can drive over there, save the airfare. How about that?
Yeah. Big bridge.
Or pick up a bunch of those Lorcana, or whatever the thing is next year, and then sell them all on eBay to fund the trip to Germany.
Oh, there you go.
In October.
That's my plan. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
I just had to buy all the cards, spend more money than it would be for the trip to buy all the cards.
Well, if you buy something for $30, let's say, that you can resell even on eBay, you can sell the game and the card. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
So anyway, should we wrap this up? I
Yep.
see Mark dropping in and out.
Yeah, I got a jet too, so.
Okay, it was awesome having you guys on, and we got to do this more often.
Yep, appreciate it.
Heck yeah, it was a lot of fun gaming with you guys and meeting you, Franco. And then this was the third time that I've ever been physically in the same space with you, Brun.
So yeah, true. Awesome, and it's been twice in like 2 months.
I know, right?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. So, all right. So we'll call this one. I'm Rob. Catch you all at the next show in, a week or two?
Yeah. I'm Brun. Have a good night.
I'm Franco. Good night. See ya.
And then I don't think we have Mark.
I think I heard this is Mark signing off.